Hey, everybody. Obi Woodchuck is back. I got an very interesting thing for you today. So I got a call from my buddy Diesel, Daryl Johnson, last night. And it was on like 10 p.m. here. So it was after midnight wherever he was. And he was pretty distressed. He asked me if I'd heard of this guy, High Octane. This guy is stealing his likeness and his music. So yeah, this guy, he's trying to use Diesel's look, in the hat. And if you look here, well, it's hard to see, but he's using a lot of the same titles, song titles, and he puts Diesel 1970, featuring Diesel 1970, and in all these tracks. And now Diesel's trying to upload his album to Apple Music, and they won't accept it. They're saying that he's trying to set up multiple accounts and he's trying to farm or whatever it is they are supposing that he is trying to do. So he talked with my wife for a minute. My wife knows a bunch of lawyers, but I decided to go on Grok. And I started with the simple question. I'm going to go all the way back up to the top. Bam. All right. So bring her on up there. Now, I said my buddy Diesel 1970 is being copied, for lack of a better term. He put out an album using Diesel 1970's likeness and featuring Diesel 1970 on his tracks when Diesel isn't involved with them. So it went through a long spiel about this, and these like promotions for his stuff show up on X and TikToks, often from accounts pushing MAGA vibes or tied to Charlie Kirk tributes. Hey, the one X user, Obi Woodchuck, that's me, repeatedly plugs his albums, framing Diesel 1970 as a trucker needing help to get out of his big rig through sales. Could be a part of his persona's backstory or promo angle. So yeah, he went into looking into who I'm talking about. So my next prompt was the Diesel 1970, who is my buddy, is the one who wrote How Dare They. The Imposter also uses the moniker High Octane. So then it dug a little deeper. Background from Imposter, High Octane. High Octane appears to be a recently emerged music artist or persona, primarily releasing AI-generated or synthetic country/rap tracks with patriotic and tribute themes. Their content started popping up early October 2025. Yep, Apple Music, YouTube, Boomplay, and possibly others. October 2025. Everybody knows that Diesel's song came out way before that. Key releases including the album Running on Diesel. How blatant can you be? He's running on Diesel, and literally running on my buddy Diesel. So, connection to How Dare They, evidence of impersonation. A Facebook page under Diesel 1970 explicitly calls out High Octane as an imposter. This isn't me, he's an imposter. I don't look like Jack Black. I'm not now or ever will be High Octane. So yeah, he's been worried about this for a few days now. And it gives you some high-level steps to address this. You gather proof. And so I wasn't done getting proof. I followed, it wanted proof. So I started pulling up. I pulled all the links from Diesel's, the real Diesel YouTube page. And I said above are the links from the original Diesel 1970, my friend, and I am at Obi Woodchuck, the one that's been promoting him on X. Analyze this while I find info on the imposter. Okay, so then it says, based on the links you provided for the original Diesel 1970, your friend, along with your role as Obi Woodchuck promoting them on X, here's a detailed analysis of these profiles. I've cross-referenced data, public data, content themes, timelines, and your X activity to establish authenticity and content. This focuses on verifying the original persona as a grassroots, self-promoted outlaw country rap artist, likely a trucker or blue-collar figure creating patriotic, faith-based music. The profiles show consistent activity starting mid-2024, predating the Imposter's October 2025 releases. So then it talks about Diesel's YouTube channel, his TikTok channel, where he's been calling this out. And I shared actually, it asked me to share the link for his Facebook post. So I did. This is also the link to the original Diesel1970. It's his post on Facebook about the imposter. Factor it in while I continue my search. So it compiles more. And then next steps, the short solidifies Diesel1970's position as the original artist and victim of impersonation. Once you provide imposter details, example, specific high-octane links or profiles, so that's what I did. It took me some doing because he's not on YouTube or he's difficult to find. So I went on Apple Music, where those pictures that I showed are from. Went on Apple Music for these pictures here, and I found an album. Oh, hey, come here, you. There we go. And I found an album, so I copied the links to 6 of his songs, all with the same titles of Diesel's music and all saying featuring Diesel1970. So I clipped those, copied those links and posted them here. And then the analysis of imposter tracks on Apple Music. Here's where we got the guy. Here's where we got him. Yeah, this was so much fun. I had a blast. Thanks for sharing these specific links. They directly tie into the high-octane persona we discussed, confirming the unauthorized use of your buddy Diesel1970's name across multiple tracks. I've analyzed each page for metadata, which consistently shows a pattern of false featuring Diesel1970 credits on a brand new album with no deeper ties to the real artist. This reinforces the impersonation. The releases exploit Diesel1970's recent virality, example from How Dare They, his Charlie Kirk song, without involvement, likely to siphon streams or confuse fans. All tracks are from the same album, Running on Diesel by High Octane, released just 15 days ago, October 4th, 2025. Well after your friend's original content started gaining traction in September 2025. Key patterns across all tracks, and then it goes into, High Octane, a newly created profile with no prior discography or bio details visible. And then the album Running on Diesel, it shows the whole link. Release date, October 4th. Unspecified genre, blah, blah, blah. Explicit content, unspecified. Track durations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, mentions of Diesel1970 strictly limited to the featuring credit in the titles. No bio notes, photos, or endorsements. AI and synthetic indicators, not explicitly stated, but the sparse metadata, sudden releases, and generic featuring tactic align with AI-generated music trends. Example, quick, low-effort tributes. No links to social or external verification. And the overall vibe, blah, blah, blah. All right, and then it goes by the track. Then it breaks down the tracks individually. Where'd it go? Breaks down the track. Yes, there we go. Charlie Kirk tribute featuring Diesel1970. Tribute to Charlie Kirk. Memorial or patriotic outrage. This is a track-by-track breakdown. High, direct riffs from your friend's viral How Dare They for Charlie, which hit 900K views in September 2025. This could be an unauthorized remix or copyright. So it breaks down each of the 6 tracks that I shared. And then it gives some broader context on the imposter. updated steps to finally shut this down. And then it gives him step-by-step step-by-step actions to take. Building on prior advice, these links give concrete evidence. Use them in your reports. Report to Apple Music. Go to the album page, and it provides the link. All you got to do is click it. And then it says report a concern via their support form. Focus on impersonation or misleading content and attach, Diesel1970's YouTube short, Facebook disclaimer as proof of denial, screenshots of my ex promotions showing in the original How Dare They Upload, September 17th, when I started promoting him. And then the timeline, original content from July 2024 versus the Imposter, October 4th, 2025. And then so it wants me to, it says cross-platform takedowns. It's search YouTube, Spotify for matching high-octane tracks, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't find any on YouTube. I didn't look on Spotify. But it gives him all the information that he needs to take this to the next level and provide the evidence that he needs to get this shut down. Now, he was stressed out, and within a half an hour, maybe an hour, because we did talk some, we were able to get this. I was able to help him find all this evidence and get this all compiled. I'm no lawyer. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but I have been learning and practicing on using AI to seek truth. And it is a tool like any other that men have been commissioned to build. So, I totally get the trepidation with AI, especially ChatGPT and some of the ones that obviously censor and cherry pick data. I like Grok. I believe that Grok is not bound by the same restrictions as far as cherry picking the data and only pushing forth a particular narrative, which I think ChatGPT, due to its ownership, really does. So that's what I wanted to bring to you guys today. And I felt it was very important to show that. So that being said, I just, I wanted to take the time to point out that Daryl, he's a hardworking trucker. He poured his heart into his music, and we have this guy, and there's other people going after him. And I'm sure that he's not the only one that has to deal with this, which is also part of the reason why I made this video. Because how much would it have cost him, and how long would it have taken for him to go to a lawyer's office, hire a lawyer or a researcher or whatever, because the lawyer will probably hire a researcher to research this stuff and do exactly what I did in half an hour. So take it for what it's worth and use it in a truthful way, and be skeptical of the information it gives you. And it's no different than putting on your armor of God and walking out into the devil's playpen, which is outside, anywhere outside in California, pretty much. So I actually responded to a comment about, how me using the AI is countermanding Jesus, countermanding God's word. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know enough to be able to make that judgment. And I'm not going to take you at your word without doing my own research. That's how we end up in the place where we're at in politics today, taking people at their word without doing their own due diligence. So I'm going to keep doing my due diligence. This was a video to prove that it's not always a bad thing. It can be used for good. And I was able to alleviate Diesel's worries and fears in under an hour by utilizing this tool and giving him the evidence he needed to fight injustice and to fight for actual truth. So, that being said, thank you, everybody, and God bless you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And wait a minute, let me find that banner. Well, I put these banners together. Might as well use them, right? So, and don't forget, Diesel's new album comes out on the 21st. It's his Amazing Grace album. Wow, 21st. Check it out. Support him. Follow him. And God bless you. Later.